Okay, trying to keep these little promos short and sweet. Jesus, is there anybody who's not having a Black Friday deal? God, every website, every ad, everywhere I turn, I got a Black Friday deal. Well, we're no different. So here, just bring it to your attention. Be going all week. 30, 35, 40%. Got to use these codes. Easiest way to keep track of this, if you're considering it, is come over to our Twitter feed. Or write us, right? You can always write us. We're easy to reach. Okay, guys, there you go. There's the pro. Okay, guys, back with you here on the 27th here for an update on Ethereum by request in our polling. This is always a good idea to get a little perspective here on how far the round trip that we've made here. So I think our absolute low here on Coinbase is about $6 and change, up to 1,400 back down. So here we're under 100. I mean, this is quite a ride. Now, so I'm on an 8-hour here. So if we open this up a little bit, all right, do we have a candidate here? Certainly, that's a candidate for a 1 coming off of this low. Is there a low down here? $80 coming off of our low. Well, it's a very deep 2. So here, from our swing low, swing high, we're already now through in arithmetic. We're already through the 786. Now we do have the range here that would support looking at it in log scale. You know, I'm always a little bit cautious of going to log scale when it's accommodative to my view. I'm a long-term bull here, is no surprise to anyone who watches regularly, but you know, I'm always a little cautious of that. Is that just, am I doing that? You know, doing that, you know, shit, the trade looks better. So I want to keep some perspective on both of these here. So aware that, you know, certainly this is valid here. Look at it in log. It starts to look more like Bitcoin, where we had this little pump through the 65, and you know, is it a washout, taking care of all the stops that are under the 65, and now we're retracing? You know, it's tempting to think that, but you got to work with the tools that we have here as we look at this. I mean, per our methodology, right? I shouldn't do it however you like, but as we look at this, swing low, swing high, I'm still in an internal retracement. I do have an impulse on the way up. Now I've got a very, you know, kind of an unusual shape to this retracement. So if let's work from our swing high coming down. See, the internal impulse here is so good. I think we've got to go 1, 2, 1, 2. So we get a very clear impulse in that third. So this, you know, again, looks like a good candidate here. If I pull from my proposed 3 low, you know, between the 38 and the 50, you know, perhaps, you know, something like this here has had a little influence here. So some prior support, a little resistance, it very well could be. You know, so and then it looks like we've got to go. So 1, 2, there's the impulsive in the 3. Got to work this as an ABC. It gets almost to the 50, and then coming down here, I think we got to finish the 5 here. So because I'm on an 8-hour here, let me. Well, let's do it this way. We'll hide it rather than remove it. Let's hide it. So, all right, so back up a second here. So let's go down. We'll go to a 3, because this is what I want you to see. You can dig an impulse out of this. All right, so we can get the 1, 2. I know it's skinny, a little hard to see here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I think we can live with that to complete the impulse. So let me get that off just to clear up the chart a bit. I think, well, here, okay, so I'm still in log scale. Right now it becomes less a factor here when we go out of, so I'm going to take this off. So we'll just focus in on what we've got to work with here in arithmetic. So from the proposed wave 1 high coming down. All right, so here's the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like that's the 4. We're down for the 5. That would give us just our A wave. Well, we got to go with this double top here. It's essentially a double top. So we got to work this as an ABC. Oh, Jesus. It's one bit of the new update they did I don't like. All right, so here, I think we got to go with this flat here. 3, yes, you kind of just, you got to live with it. So the ABC here looks all right. You'd have to go A, B, C, and then, all right, you know, yeah, it's there, right? I mean, you got to go down to maybe a 30-minute to get it. So you got to work this as the B here. And then coming down here, let's zoom in on this off of the B. So we get a new high here. So you'd have to work it this way since this is slightly higher. So you'd have to go into this as an A, B, C here. And then looks like we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we're okay here going 1, 2. So let's do it this way. So the length of the 1 projected from the proposed 2. All right, well, so if this is my third coming down here, well, I've gone pretty far, 227. Right, we're through it, right? We come up shy of the 2618, which would be, kind of the extreme for a third relative to the length of that 1. I can get, 1, 2, I can get it. We can label it. Let's get it in 1, 2. Obviously, we got to change that degree. Let's get this labeled up though. Go submicro. Okay, so we got a good candidate here for our 3. So it does not look like we are done. So note here we're getting a very clear 3 coming out of this. It's also much like Bitcoin. You go down to the hourly, right? So what? Right now it still looks like all we've got here is an ABC going in, but of course every impulse started off looking like an ABC. So we've got a candidate here that would be consistent with the count as we're identifying it here. Let me get this one off. So we look. So we're just coming through. So I might look here. So look at these long wicks here, right? So these are just dipped and then revolt and then rejected. So down, rip it out, down for these long wicks. All right, so somebody's getting bent over here. So and they rip it right up. But note here we get the same thing up here. So it's these extreme wicks. Right? We're not getting sustained movement. So it's up, rejected, up again, right? So they're trying to get, right? There will be stops there. They can't get it there, and then it rolls down. So it looks like we've got the 3 is in, but it does not look. We'll have to wait and see to really confirm this. But the anticipation would be all we're doing is the ABC of the 4. We're literally ticking the 38 right here, right where you'd be looking for at least a reaction here. So as we come up, we get these 2 little wicks coming in. It's kind of just bring it over here. So how much you want to include here. We're right where you might anticipate. We're getting in here. So here's essentially 1 standard deviation of the volume profile here per visible range. So we're getting up to where you might anticipate some resistance up here. Not a lot of detail we can pull out of that. We go down to the 60 here. Well, one thing, of course, we can do is we've got the framing for it. So we can certainly put an algo swing on it and see how we look here. So here's 50 going. Let's get you right on there. All right, so this looks pretty solid here, right? You can see you get a little failure here. If this is A, B, C, and then as we come down here, I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's they all break down at some point. But right now, so here 50, we've just gone. That's very reasonable. That could be our front run on the target, and explain why we run into so literally we come a tick shy of the 38, and we bump our heads there. Still, nothing says we have to stop there. So what else can we do here? Well, of course, we can put a set of median lines on it. Now we're trending, right? So we can stay with original recipe here. So we can put together, you got a corner pocket sitting here. I can get it to work for me. Okay, so let's get you back on that. All right, so it's not a golden, but we do get a corner pocket. All right, so from this corner here, God damn it, come on. Trading view bugs me a little bit. All right, there we go. See, it's annoying to have to lock that in place because then you want to move it and it doesn't work. But that would solve my problem here. Shit, I can't even get this thing to light up. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm after right there. So 50. So if we were, so this is kind of interesting here. So if we fail to make the median line, all right, and we do the AB, shit, that's why you don't want to lock it. All right, so now we're unlocked. Okay, so if we fail to make the median line here, that would be bearish. So it would set up a move, right? You know this from trading principle number 4. A failure to make the median line sets up a move equal to or greater than the move that failed to get there. So if we're equal to or greater than, right? Equal to or greater than, potentially heading down here, if this is going to stay as our 4 here. Now, if we keep going here and we pop up to this, well, we wouldn't invalidate the thinking that we had a 4 there. We would not invalidate. Excuse me. So we could still have an ABC here. Let's pull back out and put that in context. So per the 1-2, well, let's wick that off. All right, so let's get our 1 wicked off here. That would be coming up. We'd be beyond the 65 here. Interesting, right? So yeah, I've got the 707 on here. So if here, let me just, let's do it this way. No, I can do it this way. Let's just get a straight measure move. We'll take the 707. So here's the third target. If we were going to go that high, well, then you might be rethinking here, thinking perhaps 1, 2, 3. Maybe we do have a low here, but right now you can't go. Well, I wouldn't go there yet until, I mean, really, you don't confirm until you see if you get a 3, what happens here. If we were to go that high and we start to retrace, do we get a 5? And even still, considering how far we've gone, you know, you couldn't eliminate the possibility that we have more complexity in the correction, and maybe that's just an A wave. So it's, you know, it's a long way out of the hole here. I mean, it's a long way down. What are we here? 131. From 1400. But you'd also you'd be looking for some geometry the other direction here. So you'd be looking here. Do I have anything here to work with? It's too far. This is a slightly higher high. Get these dialed in here. If there's any value add here. Well, this downsloping trend line here would certainly be in play. It looks like we're through the median line. So these may not be. Let's go to the 3-hour here. You got a lot of choices in terms of what to use. So the geometry is a little tricky here. I think right now I would keep this as a candidate here. Let's get this one off. So I'd keep a bigger picture here, because you get down here, it's very easy to get lost in this new thing they did where it's very sensitive. I like the new upgrade, other than that one feature. I mean, anything you touch here, it lights it up. Okay, so this is a candidate here, but you got to keep some perspective here. If we were going to go into a 5 here, I mean, so possibility, you know, if we were going to go 5 into an ABC at a larger degree, you know, we could get into a combination here. So it's a little early to be saying anything other than right now. What we can see is we do have this unusual, very shallow B relative to the length of. If this is our A, this is an abnormally shallow B. So we're not so far gone here that we couldn't end up with something radically different. We could have we could end up with something very different than what we have right now. I mean, there's a couple of different ways this could play, and that's a function of the fact that the ABC, the symmetry here is so unusual. So we'd be trying to finish here with this A, B. If that's going to finish the C, I mean, let's get you off of there. I mean, this is for an ABC. It's one hell of an extension in the A. It's not the craziest thing I've ever seen, but it's a little unusual for the B to be so shallow, right? We're typically looking for a B to be up at least to the 50. We don't even make the 23. So it makes you pause just a bit on the Elliott count. It's like, is that symmetry so off? So you really have to work one swing at a time. So right now I can see the clear impulse going in. Now, barring a big move up here, the anticipation would be that it's going to complete, barring something huge here, which, wouldn't make me sad. If crypto is going to start to rally here, I'll deal with the count later. That's a high-class problem. Right now, just you can't assume anything other than it's likely a retracement. Right? At least we would come down here. We could at least complete the Elliott count so that we would make a little more sense. Now we'd be pushing. We're back to where we started. We're mighty deep on this. We're already through the 787. Yeah, I know. It's better here. It's better there. I get it. I see it. So I guess I'd like if it were to come down here and complete one of these targets, I still would be reluctant to be just waiting down there buying. I would like to see that. Give me a little retrace here. Give me that first motive before I get overly aggressive, because there's such a long way to go. I'm not worried about missing. If you miss from 125 to 135, I'm worried about that. But just to sit down here with it's kind of like we just looked at with Matic. It's very similar. So for the members here that just watched that Matic video that we just did, it's kind of the same thinking here. Do we have this big base of accumulation here? Now here it's unusually large, right? Take it out of log scale, maybe it looks a little bit different, but it's same kind of idea. Are we dipping our toes down in here into this absolute base? Well, it's clearly sellers have been in control through this entire move down here. We got deeply, deeply, deeply oversold here. I mean, Jesus, what did we get here? Under 15 here. Now that's the 8-hour. Be less so on the daily. Right, but we're down to 20. Now we get there. Right, so all the potential is there for. Let me look. So the last time we were down here was here. If I get that right. So if we're right here, then we've got this coming. This is right here. That's the last time we got that low. We didn't get much. Right. Last time we got up was in the 4. Right. That's the last time we got into. Well, let's just call it above 70. Overbought, oversold. I don't like that terminology. So, but the last time we got up into the range where you had the potential for this to come down. Now, that's a long-ass way down. We come all the way down to the 18. So the energy potential for that to recycle all the way back up and then all the way back down is certainly there. But you kind of got to look at that and go, I mean, if we're done, if we finish down here, so we could retrace the whole thing. We could easily just come up here. Maybe we make it, maybe we don't, and then we're back down again. That's where you're likely to be looking for some divergence. Right now, the Elliott count doesn't look like it's done, so I'd be looking for one more retest down. Now, again, if it starts to really move out of here and we come out of it with an impulse, well, it's again, yeah, you may not get the absolute turn, but we're going to need we're going to need a motive wave to come out of here if we get something like that. But it's likely to be followed by the correction, right? That's what we're looking to get into. So right, so with crypto, I know it's, you're dying to buy it at these levels here, but I mean, here's zero down here. Here's $100. So we're talking about a target down here, an algo target here between 114, 116, and 100. So you want to tighten this all up. That's your range. So now you got to be conscious of how far we're going. So here, let's put the 887 on that. All right, so there's the 887 right here. So if we really tighten it up, remember this. Let's take this off here. So that's how I would look at that. That's about as far as you'd want to see that go, to hang on to the idea that we're working with a 2. And I mean, not technically. As long as we stay above this pivot, it's still internal, but it's not the best looking 2 you'd ever see. So I wouldn't be overly concerned about trying to get the absolute tick low here, right? I mean, there's going to be plenty of time to get on board. This is, right, so of all the choices you had across the board in crypto, and you're looking at a 2 that you're trying to buy at the 887, I know that'd be first in line for me in terms of where I'd want to allocate capital. I just think there's better looking trades technically. I mean, obviously, Ethereum is the second largest crypto coin by market cap, so we don't want to discount it, but that's not a great looking setup. Yeah, we can get a count on it. Yes, it's still an internal retracement, but of all your choices, I don't know, that would be high on my list. let it come out of here with a good motive, and then I'll be the first in line to say, oh, okay, game on. But we don't have that yet. All right, guys. Try and get one more. Okay, talk to you a little bit.